You think you're making your own decisions like what to watch, what to buy, what to believe, what to do next. But what if most of those decisions are already been shaped before you make them? Not forced, not controlled, just guided so subtly that you don't even notice it. I'm Ilal Lyman, and here we explore the AI economy, not through hype, not through fear, but through what is actually changing. And today I want to talk about something that feels uncomfortable because it challenges something we assume is always true, that we are in control of our decisions, that we choose, that we decide. But what if that the process behind those decisions is changing? Not in an obvious way, but in a quiet, continuous way. Because AI is not just helping you make decisions, it is starting to shape them. Let's let's start with something simple. What is a decision? If it feels like a moment. You think about something, you weigh options, and then you choose. That's how we experience it. But you see, in reality, a decision is not just a moment. It is a process influenced by what you see, what you know, what you feel, what is available, and most importantly, what is presented to you. Before you had to search for options, you had to explore, compare, think. Now, well, options are presented to you. And that changes the process. Because when options are presented, they are already filtered, selected, ranked based on what the system believes you will choose. Now, at first, this feels helpful, right? You open something and it shows you relevant options. You don't need to search, you don't need to think too much. Everything feels easier. And that's the key, ease. You see, because the easier something becomes, the more you rely on it. Now, let's go a little bit deeper. AI does not just give you options. It learns how you choose, what you prefer, what you ignore, what you hesitate on. And over time, it builds a model of your decision patterns. And once it understands those patterns, it can anticipate them. So instead of waiting for you to decide, it prepares the decision environment, so to speak. Now, here's where the shift happens. You still choose. That's the important key. You still choose, but you choose within a space that was already shaped. Now, think about this carefully. If you always see the most relevant options first, you are more likely to choose it, right? Now, not because you are forced, but because it feels right. Now, multiply this across everything: content you watch, products, ideas, opportunities. Your environment becomes optimized for your behavior, and optimization leads to predictability. Now, let's introduce something important. There are two ways AI can interact with your decisions. The first is augmentation. AI helps you think. Okay, that's pretty obvious one. It gives you information. It expands your reasoning. You stay in control, you decide. The second one is outsourcing. AI simplifies the process. It reduces, effort. It gives you ready-made answers. And over time, you rely on it more. Now, here's the problem. These two paths look very similar at the beginning. Both feel efficient, they feel useful, but they lead to different outcomes. In augmentation, your thinking improves. In outsourcing, your thinking reduces. And the difference is not obvious at first, because in both cases, decisions feel easy. Now, let's explore how this plays out in daily life. You open an app, you see content, right? You click, you engage, you move on. It feels like a series of small choices. But those choices are influenced by what appears, what is highlighted, what is repeated. Now imagine this happening all day. Hundreds of micro decisions, each one slightly guided. And over time, those small influences adds up. Now let's connect this to behavior. If your decisions are guided, your behavior is shaped. And if behavior is shaped, outcomes are shaped. Now, this is where it becomes economic. The economy is built on decisions, what people buy, what people choose, what people invest in. If those decisions are influenced, markets are influenced. Now, companies don't just compete for attention, as you know. They compete to be selected, to be presented, to be part of that decision environment. Now, think about what this means. The power shift. Yes, it's all about power. From making choices to shaping choices. Now, here's the tension. You still feel in control because no one forces you, but the path is guided and guidance feels natural. Now, let's step back. This is not manipulation, it is optimization. Systems are optimized to reduce friction, increase engagement, improve outcomes. But optimization has a side effect. It reduces randomness, it reduces exploration, it reduces the need to think. Now, this creates a risk. If you rely too much on optimized decisions, you lose the ability to navigate complexity because you are no longer practicing decision making. You are following it. Now, this does not happen to everyone equally. Some people remain aware. They question, they step back, they use AI to think more. Others rely fully on the system. They almost blindly accept, they follow, they trust the output. So again, two paths emerge: decision augmentation and decision outsourcing. Now let's go deeper. Why is this happening? Because AI reduces the cost of deciding. It removes effort, it removes friction, it removes uncertainty. And humans naturally move toward easier paths. It's all about efficiency. So over time, outsourcing becomes the default, unless you actively resist it. Now, think about the long-term effect. If decisions become easier, people make more decisions faster, but not necessarily better, because speed increases, but depth may decrease. Now, this creates diversions. People who maintain depth gain an advantage. People who rely on speed become dependent. Now, let's connect this to everything we've discussed. AI predicts behavior, AI guides attention, AI shapes environments. And now AI influences decisions, not by replacing them completely, but by shaping the process. Now, let's bring everything together again. We are moving from a world where you actively decide to a world where decisions are assisted and sometimes outsourced. And the difference between those two is not visible at first, but over time it becomes massive. So, this is not about losing control. It is about how control changes from direct decision making to navigating a system that shapes decisions. And in that system, awareness becomes critical because the more aware you are, the more you can step back. So, and actually question, choose intentionally actually. And the less aware you are, the more you follow the path that is presented. So the real question is not, is AI replacing your decisions? The real question is, where are you still deciding and where are you simply following? Because in that difference, your future is shaped. If this got you thinking, please drop a comment. I read everything. Thank a lot for watching and I will see you in the next one.